My own dearest Elizabeth, once more I take my pen in hand to write you a few lines, thankful that I am yet preserved in health and strength sufficient for the duties that fall to me, and hoping earnestly that this may find you in the same state, your fears somewhat quieted since you last wrote. Since I last sent you a few poor lines, I have had the comfort of receiving 2 letters from your dear hand. The first reached me not many days after my former one had already gone forward, so that I could make no mention of it there. And before I could find a quiet hour to answer it, as my heart desired, there came also your later one of the 23rd. Thus I must now reply at once to both what you have written and to what has befallen us since. I cannot tell you what comfort those pages have afforded my poor heart. I read them first standing by the wagon where the mail was dealt out, and again that night by the fire, and once more the next morning, till I believe I could repeat much of them by memory. You say you feel ashamed that your hand trembled upon the paper and that your tears fell upon it, but I would not for anything that you should be otherwise. It is a great thing to be so loved, and if the lines are a little blurred here and there, it only makes them dearer to me. I was glad to hear that the corn is mostly gathered in and that your father's rheumatism is somewhat better with the cooler weather. I can almost see you and your mother busy together in the yard, with the cobs and husks about you, and the hens darting in to seize what they can. It did my heart good also to know that you still keep our little place in order, and that the roses by the door you had put out a few late blossoms. When you wrote that you had taken my old coat and brushed it and hung it by its place, saying to yourself that it should not hang long without its owner, I had to lay the letter aside for a time, for my sight failed me. It seemed in that moment as if I stood in the doorway and saw you about your work, and I thanked God that, though my body is far from you, yet He has bound our hearts together in such a manner that no distance can wholly divide us. In your last you chid me gently for speaking so freely of the late skirmish, saying that your heart almost stopped when you read of the balls whistling near my head. Forgive me, my dear one, if I have added to your anxieties by too plain a narration. I wished only that no cloud of uncertainty should hang between us. Do not desire that you should think of me as in constant danger, nor that your days should be spent in fear, yet I feel bound to deal truly with you. If I come home, it shall be with a clear conscience that I hid nothing from you, and if I fall, you will know that I faced what was set before me with my mind stayed upon you and upon the mercy of God. I will try, nevertheless, to spare you such particulars as might wound your feelings needlessly, and to dwell more upon such things as may bring you some satisfaction. We have had no further brushing with the enemy since I wrote last. Our days pass now in the common routine of drill, fatigue duty, and in standing guard, and in waiting upon orders that come and go like the winds. Yet though the guns have been silent, there has been sorrow in the camp, not caused by any new assault. One of the wounded from our former affair, poor Jackson from Company B, who was struck in the leg, took fever and sank away from us the day before yesterday. The surgeon did what he could, but the hurt was too great, and his strength too far spent. We buried him near the others, under a little ridge where the ground is dry, and an older comrade spoke a few words over him, commending his soul to the Lord. It is a strange thing, Elizabeth, to see the earth close over one with whom you have eaten and marched and jested but a short time before. It brings home to a man the truth that our life is but a vapor that appeareth for a little time and then vanisheth away. A heavier blow has fallen upon our dear friend Caleb. Yesterday, when the mail came in, there was a letter for him bearing his father's hand. I saw at once, by the look that crossed his face, that the contents were not of a joyful sort. He stepped aside from the crowd and went a little way toward the edge of the camp, and I could not help but follow him at a distance, for my heart misgave me. He sat down upon a fallen tree and broke the seal, and I stood where I could see his countenance, though I would not intrude upon him by speech. As he read, the color left his cheeks, and his hands began to tremble. After a little, he covered his eyes, and then knew then that evil tidings had come. After some time, he seemed to feel my presence and beckoned me nearer. He called me Nat in a very low voice and told me that Joshua was gone. The words struck me as if someone had spoken them aloud close by my own ear. You know how he loved his brother, and how often we spoke of him, recalling his quick laugh and the way he would run before us when we went to the creek as boys. It seems that a party of federal soldiers passed through their neighborhood, and in some manner that I cannot rightly describe, for the letter was confused in the details. Joshua was shot and killed. Whether it was in some sudden quarrel or upon suspicion of giving aid to our cause, I cannot say. Caleb's father wrote that he died quickly and that they buried him beneath the big oak near the lane. We sat together for a long time, and I did what I could to comfort him, though my words seemed poor and weak in my own ears. I reminded him that the Lord is sovereign, and that not even a sparrow falleth to the ground without his notice, much less a soul so dear. I said that Joshua's warfare is accomplished now, and that he is, as we hope, at rest in a better country, where there is no more pain nor parting. Caleb listened and nodded from time to time, but he did not say much. Once he spoke of his mother and how she would bear this new sorrow, and at that, the tears came fast, and he could not continue. I put my hand upon his shoulder, and we sat so, neither of us speaking until the bugle sounded, and we were called back to our duties. Since then, he has been quieter than before, as is natural. Yet he still performs all that is required of him and comes to the fire in the evening. The men have shown much kindness, not pressing him to talk, but making room for him and sharing what a little extra they have, whether it be coffee or a bit of tobacco. Sometimes, when the talk runs upon indifferent matters, I see a shadow pass over his face, as if his thoughts had gone far from us. But when he catches my eye, he makes an effort and says something to join in, for which I am thankful. He said to me last night, very softly, that he knew the Lord had given and the Lord had taken away, but that it was hard, and he called me that as he said it. I could say nothing to that, but that it was hard indeed, and we both fell silent. The camp in general wears a more sober look now. There's still some jesting, for soldiers will be soldiers, and if we did not laugh at times, we should all go mad. Yet the laughter does not run so long nor so loud as once it did. In the pauses, I sometimes feel as though each man is counting up in his own mind those who are gone, and wondering how soon his own name will be set with theirs. At night, when the fires burn low and the talk dies out, there are moments when a hush follows over the whole line of tents, and you can hear nothing but the wind in the trees and the horses moving in their lines. At such times, my thoughts turn very earnestly toward you, and I say within myself that, while God is pleased to spare me, I will not let my heart be carried away by fear, but I will remember that I have something to live for beyond the camp, in the field. The Indian companies are yet with us, though they keep, as before, much among their own people. Of late, I have noticed them more often at the edge of the woods toward evening, standing very still, as if watching or listening for something beyond our knowledge. Perhaps it is only their manner of keeping guard, for they are said to be quick to learn what passes in these wilderness places. When they ride out, they do so with a gravity that impresses me. And when they return, there is little speech among them that we can understand. Only a few low words in their own tongue, and a look that passes from one to another. I do not know why, but sometimes when I see them thus, I feel as if they carry in their minds some old remembrance that does not belong to us, as though these hills and hollows hold stories that were old before our fathers ever set foot here. It may be but my fancy, stirred up by the solitude and the late occurrences, yet it clings to me at times. Do not let all this make you uneasy beyond what is meet, my dear Elizabeth. I write of these things because you are my other self, and I could not bear to keep my heart shut against you. Yet I am not without comfort in the midst of them. Your letters are to me like a spring of water in a dry place, and I take them out and read of your daily occupations, the neighbors calling, of the singing at church, and of your prayers going up for me. It is as if I were for a little while seated again in our own hearth, your hand in mine. My faith, though tried, is not overthrown. I know in whom I have believed, and I am persuaded that he is able to keep that which I have committed unto him against that day. If he wills that I return, I shall bless his name. If he appoints otherwise, I trust that he will give you strength to bear it, and that we shall yet meet where there are no such partings. I must now close, for the light is growing dim, and I am called for picket duty at first watch. Kiss your mother for me, and remember me kindly to your father and to all our friends who may inquire after me. Tell them I think often of home, yet strive to do my duty here, and that I am upheld, in great part, by the thought of your steadfast love. Continue to write whenever Providence permits, for every line from your hand is a cord that holds me fast against many dark thoughts. Until I can look upon your face again, I remain your true and affectionate husband, Nathaniel.